states. 166.
Yes.
All right, Your Honor, I'll offer this into evidence.
Subject to previous objection. Subject to previous objection, and that is the
Full tape, Your Honor.
okay. Not full interviews, what's, all was recorded?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they understand.
Audio recording, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. I'm gonna step
All right. No. Apparently this wasn't on, so I just want to go over this again. When we started off here today, we did advise you of your rights. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you just state your name?
Tim Jones,
All right. What's your date of birth?
12/2081.
Let's see if we can play it a little bit louder. Hang on just a minute. Run.
Turn the master volume up here.
Back to that.
We did advise you of your rights. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you just state your name?
Tim Jones,
All right. What's your date of birth?
12/2081.
All right. And you agreed to talk to us.
Yeah, we was talking, but they forgot to push the record button. So
Okay.
this is part 2.
All right. And when we went towards the end, we asked you if we threatened you
No,
in
you
any
guys
way.
didn't threaten me.
No one promised you anything. Could you just please say it out loud?
No, nobody promised me anything.
Oh, okay. We talked about what happened with your children.
Well, no, I take that back. You guys did promise me. You guys said let me go give them a burial and try to help you out.
So
That's
you-
what you guys promised.
Promised a good burial for your children. We talked about when you picked your children up Thursday, which would have been August 28th. You picked them up from school that day, and something happened that night. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can you walk us through what happened?
I questioned the town about 4 outlets that he blew. After a series of not getting any favorable responses out of him, I tried to use more harsh measures to just try to get out of him what was going on because I didn't know what he was doing. I seen 4 destroyed outlets. Is it for me, him? Was he curious? I just didn't know what was going on and I was trying to make sense of it. I worked him too hard, or maybe it was a combination of the electricity. I know electricity takes electrolytes out of your body. Something happened. It was out of the ordinary and he wouldn't tell me. If I would have known it, I mean, I would have gotten medical help and whatnot, but I don't know what he did and he didn't tell me. I didn't see any burn marks on his body, so that's why I didn't rush him to the hospital. So after the fact, he was deceased.
And then what happened to him?
How did he get deceased? What did you do?
I sent him to bed after I worked him real hard because he wouldn't answer me.
And what do you mean by working him too
I
hard?
just PT'd his ass till he couldn't handle it. Tried cracking him more butt a couple times to get something out of him to tell me what was he doing.
Right.
What's his motive?
And when you say PT, and what are we talking about?
Squats and push-ups.
Squats, push-ups. And how long were you having them PT?
I'm PT like an hour. Like I said, there's nothing out of the ordinary. Those kids would do insanity with me. We had fun doing it.
And where did he go from? You're doing this where in the house? Where you
This
PT?
was in the living room, and then I finally got tired of it and sent him to bed.
Okay.
Your ass to bed. You're not telling me the truth. I can't help you. Go to bed, man. You're wasting everybody's time.
And then you find out what?
I come back and find out that he's deceased. And when I find out he's deceased, then the shit hits the fan and all.
How does the shit hit the fan, Tim?
The voices start going off, and then here comes the paranoia. Oh shit! What just happened? What just happened? This ain't gonna go. I can't call. Blah, blah. I got all these voices running through my head now.
And then what happens, Tim? What did you tell us earlier? So Natan was dead. And then what happened?
And I followed suit with the other 4.
And how did you
Said
kill
that
them,
was
Tim?
with my hands
With your hands? Can you describe what you mean by with your hands?
around their neck.
Around their neck? Okay.
Who was next?
I'm just gonna put the order so I don't have to go into too much detail.
Okay. Just tell us the order.
Time, Mira, Elias, Gabriel. Wait. Time, Eli, Mira, Gabriel, Elaine.
And when did you say this was, Tim? What date? You told us earlier.
Thursday, I think. They were supposed to go to school Friday and they didn't go because, well, they couldn't go
Yeah. And you said also that this happened where?
at the house.
Can you tell me what that address was?
2155B, South Lake Drive.
What county is that in, Tim?
Lexington, South Carolina.
Lexington, South Carolina? Okay.
Where in the house did you say these happened at? In the house?
The bedroom, or not bedroom, the living room.
Okay. What did you do earlier? You said when you would strangle them. What would you do with the bodies at that point?
At that point, I was just running on fear and I wasn't thinking. Any normal person would have said, let me call the police and just turn myself in.
Okay.
I took the coward route and started following those voices in my head, which led me down such a nice path I'm on today.
And what did you do then
What do you mean?
with the bodies?
I put them in bags and threw them on the hill.
Okay, no. When you're at the house,
Oh, load them. I just load them in the car.
did you put them in the bag at that time?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was just 5 dead bodies.
You put them in the vehicle. What type of vehicle was that?
Cadillac Escalade.
All right. And what do you do from there?
I started driving out of fear.
Tim, tell us, what was your original plan to do with the bodies? Now that we've had a chance to talk about it.
I don't know what my original plan was. I had so many thoughts going through my mind.
What were some of them? Because you wrote some notes and you bought some
I had
supplies.
100 different thoughts about what I could do.
Okay.
I don't want to sit and incriminate myself, but
No,
I
you're fine.
had a bunch of different things. I wanted.
We went over this, but part of your plan was to do what? The bodies.
I think originally I intended to go do all that stuff that I wrote down on the paper, but
Which
then I
was
couldn't
what?
bring myself to it. I was
Right?
gonna just try to
What was it?
do stuff to just get rid of the corpse.
Do you remember what step one
I was
was?
gonna dissolve them or something like that. I was gonna cut them up and
You were gonna-
I was gonna do all kinds of stuff.
Did you write down that you were going to burn the bodies?
I think I was gonna burn them, yeah.
And you were going to, what was step 2?
Boil them, or I forget what it was. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't remember everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you write that you were going to...
I wrote stuff down that it was in the context of that time, but
All right. Was it something that you were going to cut the bodies up?
something I could bring myself to do. Yes.
All right. Let's take a look
All
here.
right, Tim, while he's looking that up, I also want to clarify when you last saw Christine,
Christina?
your next door neighbor,
Oh, when I last saw her, the kids were actually still around.
she said she spoke to you on the 2nd.
She talked to me. Yeah.
talked to you on the
when I last seen her.
And the children, so she talked to you on the phone then?
Mhm.
Okay. And the children were
And I
deceased
lied. And I
then?
lied to her and told the kids. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to go through this real quick with you. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but we went over this. What is day 1?
Burn up bodies.
What's day 2?
Saw down bones.
What's day 3?
MB smiley face. Dissolve and discard.
Okay, so your initial plan was to do these things with their bodies.
What was one of them? I told you there's other stuff. That just happened to be the one that's materialized. I had a million thoughts going through my
Okay,
mind.
let's go over this. This says what?
Head to the campground, no bodies, and send bodies to dust or small bodies. Small discard by a sanitation plant.
Okay, so these are some of the things that were going through your head?
That's just a small amount of stuff that was going through my head, yes.
Did you write this before or after you killed the children?
After.
After?
I wasn't premeditating this, no.
Okay.
This was not premeditated. This was a, oh shit, what just happened?
So you had the bodies in the vehicle. Did you write this in your house, in the car? Where did you write these notes?
That was on the back of a clipboard
Mm-hmm.
in the house, I think. Yeah, I would think that would have been in the house. I'm not good at writing and driving.
Okay. Did you do this before or after you put the bodies in the car?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry, those details I don't remember.
Now we had also gone through some of what you went and purchased, and specifically at the Walmart. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can find the receipt for that.
Drug of choice and nicotine.
What did you purchase at the Walmart?
I don't remember. Which Walmart?
This would have been the one in West Columbia.
Pull up the receipt, I don't remember.
Okay. Did you buy a saw there?
Yeah. Oop.
Okay. Did you buy? Let's go over this receipt here. This receipt is going to be from Augusta Road in West Columbia.
Okay.
All right. And the date here is 9/3. So this is after, because what happened to the children was on Thursday.
What day was that?
Is that correct?
28th.
That's the 28th.
That makes sense.
Now 9/3, this is on Wednesday, so this is after the weekend. And where have them children been the whole time?
With me.
Where?
Driving around a vehicle, I think.
Where are they though?
They're with me in the car.
Okay, they're all in the back?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, in the middle, not back. So back implies the back where you open it.
And you
I see.
told me earlier you had them covered up in some sheets or blankets.
Yeah, I do blankets and a shitload of air freshener.
So you have their bodies there. You go and you purchase what? Walk me through what you're purchasing here.
I don't know what that rose.
All right. What's this?
A dusk mask.
This is actually Gatorade, but
Oh,
dusk mask,
some goggles, and some hand saws,
some jab saw it says,
and a multi-saw.
multi-saw. What's this here?
Some muriatic acid.
And what's this here?
I think a 5-gallon pail.
All right. Were you purchasing this stuff at that time because you initially thought you might be able to go through with this?
Partially, and then I couldn't bring myself.
You just couldn't do it. Okay. So one of the next receipts we kind of talk about is going to be several days later.
I had these thoughts in my head to try to do this, and then I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay. Now we go to the following day. This is going to be the 4th. This is at the Dollar General store, and we're still in Orangeburg, South Carolina. What do you purchase there that we spoke about?
Excuse me.
What's this here?
Some trash bags.
Trash bags. Why'd you buy those trash bags? To do what now? To put the bodies in.
Okay, but then to throw some of my own trash out too.
Okay.
I had a lot of stuff in the vehicle I was trying to throw out.
Now, you said you're just driving around. You have the bodies in the car, and where are you going at that time?
Nowhere, I guess, because in my mind I'm just running. I have nowhere to go.
Because you didn't plan this.
I didn't plan this. No, it's just like
Spontaneous.
This is spontaneous, and I just fucked up my whole life.
Okay.
One bad incident, and I'm not following through with what I should have, and I.
Now we spent some time really trying to figure out where your children are at.
Yeah.
What did we kind of come up with?
Looking somewhere on Route 10 between, I think, Greenville and Camden.
Well, let's go back to
Okay.
September 5th,
Yeah.
Friday night. What did you tell us happened Friday night?
September 5th.
That was when you said your vehicle got stuck?
Yeah, so
Tell us about that.
I pulled off to the side at somebody's house to try to collect myself to see where I was at.
Yeah.
And in the process of pulling back onto the road, I got stuck in a
You got
ditch.
stuck, and what happened?
The tow truck had to come out. He called a wrecker.
All right. Did you have any law enforcement contact that night?
A law enforcement just showed up on his own. He was patrolling, and
Okay. Can you describe what he looked like?
probably about maybe 5'10", shaved hair, Caucasian male.
Okay.
When you have contact with this officer, where are your children?
In the car.
Okay, they're dead in the car.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and they're still where you set them.
Yes, sir.
What's going on in that car since they've been sitting for so long? I mean, you kill them on Thursday.
No, they weren't sitting there. Some of the time I took a couple days and just stayed home.
Okay. Did you leave them in the vehicle?
Or were they in the house at that time?
I think they were in the vehicle and I was just sitting there.
Not what you think. We want to know
No, I
what
mean
the
I
truth
believe
is.
I believe that they were in the vehicle.
But you're
and I
talking
was-
about the weekend it happened.
Yes, and I was just sitting there thinking, oh, what am I gonna do?
Okay. Well,
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Does this tie this together? Because that's what I'm trying to tell you what I know.
sure.
Yeah,
So
Tim.
all I'm saying from that Thursday, though, the 28th, and you say after all this happens, you place their bodies in the vehicle.
Yes.
Between then and the time you come in contact with the officer, and that would be Friday on September 5th. So we have over a week's time that has passed by. Your children are still in the vehicle. Is that correct?
What date?
Friday, when you have contact
Yeah,
with
so
the
the
law.
next Saturday was, yeah.
Okay, so they're in the vehicle the whole time. What's kind of happening in the vehicle? As far as how does it smell in there?
Stinks like shit.
What's happening with the children? You were telling me before.
But the blood was probably just coming out of their bodies because I just left them in there. And I believe that, well, as far as I know, I think when your body dies, blood and water separate. I think that's...
Now we had asked, because you purchased the saws and everything, had you used any of the saws on your children?
I think I tried to start on that time and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Okay. And we'll get to where that happens. Had you tried with any of the other children?
Mm-mm.
No?
It was kind of the whole center of this thing.
Mm-hmm. He's what kind of started this all.
He triggered us all.
If he would have told you what happened to the outlets that night,
I would have went and acted appropriately to try to help him.
none of this would have happened.
I think he didn't tell me because I think it was intended for me. I think that's why it would make sense for him not to tell me.
So let me ask you, so you have contact with the law enforcement officer Friday night. The children are still in the vehicle. That would have been on the 5th.
The 5th, yes.
Saturday's when you get picked up here.
The 6th.
That's going to be the 6th. That's Saturday. But that Saturday morning, we look at this receipt. And this is where?
The Greenville, Alabama.
Greenville, Alabama. And what, do you remember what you buy there?
10 packs of cigarettes and some Zuzus and Wham Whams.
Okay. And I just see grocery, so I don't know what you purchased there.
Yeah, candy
But,
bars.
and if the time on the receipt is correct, it's telling us 8:18 in the morning.
Yep.
Your children, they're still in the vehicle with you. You're positive about that on Saturday.
Not the whole day, yeah.
Okay, at that time though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go from Greenville, Alabama, and then the next receipt we have is Camden, Alabama. And what do you do in Camden?
I pulled some money out. I was intending to go to Vegas.
Okay. And you take out $500?
$500.
All right. Now, that time is at 1:06 p.m. At that point, were the children in your
I
vehicle?
don't believe they were. I think that they were gone.
You already disposed of them?
Pretty sure.
Okay,
All right.
so
With that in mind, can you describe to me what you were telling me earlier about where you disposed of your children at?
They're in some wooded road, log truck looking thing off on the side in bags.
Was it a 2-lane road that this was off of?
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. You said it was a heavily wooded area?
It was heavily wooded. It looked like if you went up in the area where I did, it was either like some of the trees got knocked out of the way, like people potentially either starting to clear it, or maybe somebody came through there and was bulldozing up ATV path or something. I don't know. It wasn't something that was incorporated. That's kind of what I would say. It was unincorporated.
Unincorporated.
your children, you do what once you get to this location?
Put them in bags and put them off to the side.
Okay. Tell us about Natan. Does this happen there? Or did this happen in a separate place? Where
Well, you said you started to cut them.
You started.
This happened there.
Where did it happen? In the vehicle? Outside of the vehicle?
Outside the vehicle.
And what do you do?
I began to try to saw a leg, and I couldn't bring myself to finish it. So, oh, I can't do that.
How far did you get?
Maybe about that far, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that to him.
Okay, so you did not cut his leg off.
No.
What did you do with his body?
I just put him in a bag and said, I gotta sit you guys over there. I said a prayer for him and walked away.
Okay, did you place each child in a separate bag?
Do you remember the tape portion?
Yes.
Again, a couple things about the taped portion of the interview. Prior to that, had all the talk about fear of kids, had that gone away?
It was there early on in the interview, but once we got to the point where he was telling us what he did, that had gone away.
Cut to the chase, and then all the talk, the full confession. There was nothing about fear and what the kids were going to do to him.
Yes, there was no talk about fear. It was about his son not coming off of it.
Once that tape recorder, everyone realized it wasn't playing. He realized that as well.
He did, yes.
Once that tape started playing, is that when he starts mentioning fear again?
He does revisit that, yes. And you heard what he said. Tape speaks for itself.
Again, the questions, the list, there's something about a list and some of those odd questions like, would you do it if there was a police officer there? Was that a pre-formed list of questions that was supplied to Detective Creech
It was.
during the interview or prior to the interview?
He was provided that during the interview itself.
If you as an FBI agent had been conducting this interview and you realized it's in your jurisdiction, so you're in charge, would you have gone through those questions?
I would not have.
That's speculation.
Speculation. This is a man I'm asking.
I think it's a fair question, so overruled.
No, I would not have.
As an agent with the FBI, what was your concern with that style of questioning?
Throughout the interview, certainly early on in his conversations with previous law enforcement, he was not being truthful, and he was looking to distance himself for this crime, and people often give a reason why they do something. When you look at his actions, what he did, he picks those children up that day. He kills those children. He ultimately buys things to dismember those children. He puts them in garbage bags. All those things he lies to us about. And he tells us he does this because he is afraid of those children. They were conspiring against him. But once he comes off this and he begins telling us why he did these things, this all stemmed from Natan and what Natan did not tell his father that day. His son would not tell his father the truth. And this is what leads to what he says was an accidental death with Natan. And then after that, he does say the voices in his head tell him no one's going to believe him. So he goes forward and he kills the rest of the children.
The questions that were asked on that list, did that just give him an opportunity to reintroduce the fear issue?
Yes, I think he circles back to that, yes.
Now, after everything's out, conducted the end of that interview, the taped portion, did you sit down with him along with other law enforcement to try to figure out where these children are?
Yes.
And did he assist? As far as, did y'all sit down, what, was this late in the day or early in the day?
It was late in the day on the 8th, and we did try to locate on maps, on computers, where the children might be located. But we also revisit this the following day on the 9th.
Well, on the 8th, after he has said what he has done to the children, do y'all give him a computer or access to electronics to assist in locating those kids?
We do. He's very good with computers, and he said if he had access to a computer, he felt that he may be able to show us the location from those receipts, we knew the children would be between Greenville, Alabama, and Camden, Alabama. He knew there was the topography of the area where he had dumped the bodies was elevated, and it was a logging road, and he believed it was along Highway 10. So we were able to get him initially an iPad. He did not like that. He wanted a Mac, a Windows, that he could operate Google Maps to attempt to locate where these children were. He went into that. He wasn't able to find quite the map that he was looking for on that computer. We had maps laid down that the sheriff and MBI were able to bring in with us, and we focused on that area. And he felt that he was willing to come with us. He acknowledged that his children did deserve a proper burial. And that night, he was willing to come with us to try. He did not want to waste our time. But he was willing to see if he could identify the exact place where he dumped the bodies.
He even asked for a topographical map, something that showed elevation.
He did, yes.
The next day, September the 9th, which, to get my days straight, would be a Tuesday.
Yes.
Is that the day that everyone actually caravaned from Mississippi to Alabama to find these children?
Yes,
And he went with y'all.
he did. He was in a vehicle in front of the vehicle I was in, sitting beside Detective Creech.
Prior to heading out, was there a meeting with Mr. Jones and all those law enforcement officers who were involved before going?
Yes.
What did y'all discuss at that point?
That particular day, Eric Johnson, who you heard from before with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, had provided Timothy Jones an advice of rights when he was brought in. I had witnessed that. At that point, I had asked Timothy in front of the investigators just to recap on the night of the 28th, the events that had occurred, up to the point of where he had dumped those bodies. So we went through those details with the law enforcement officers there. You had SLED, of course you had Lexington County there. You had Smith County Sheriff deputies there. You had the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations. This affected a lot of jurisdictions. So they could hear essentially where the crimes were committed, what his actions were, and where he said those bodies should be located.
So he actually retold the story from throughout the August 28th, what he did to his kids and his actions following them.
Yes, I had him recap the manner and method in which he had killed the children. We spoke about Natan. He did mention something new. He told us that day on the 28th, when he was confronting Natan had broken his Timothy Jones's prescription glasses.
And he told you this on the 9th before y'all go and get in the car and go drive to Alabama.
Yes.
When he tells you about Natan breaking his prescription glasses on the 9th, what was his demeanor?
He appeared to be harboring some anger still towards his son.
On the day that you're going to go find his body with his siblings.
Yes.
During the recap, does he mention any of the stuff about fear or voices?
No.
You rode with all these other officers to Alabama. A little bit of a journey.
Yes, it was.
When y'all finally got to the right spot, I think you mentioned or we heard like a logging road, is that correct?
That's correct.
When you got out, did you know you were at the right spot?
I did.
How did you know?
while we were driving up, I was actually on the phone with Detective Creech, and I could hear Timothy Jones saying, "This is it." And Detective Creech said, "Okay, he believes this is it." But when you opened the doors, you immediately could smell the decay. And David Lawrence and myself, who I rode with from SLED, knew that this was going to be the area where the children were.
You remember Sheriff Crumpton having his people take Mr. Jones back to Mississippi?
I do. Detective Creech went back with Timothy Jones as well.
Did you stay?
I did.
What did you do? Did you actually see where the bodies were?
I did. I had actually helped in moving some of the bodies into the body bags. We had opened up I didn't open up the garbage bags themselves, but I wanted to see if all 5 children were there. I also wanted to see if they were dismembered in any way. So I did help place a few of the bodies into the body bags and make sure we accounted for all 5 of the children.